Here's something nobody tells you when you are building your first product. The thing that kills most startups isn't a bad idea. It's not even bad execution. It's building the right thing at a wrong time. Let me tell you about Sarah. She came to us about 8 months ago. She had this brilliant idea for a fitness app. I mean, genuinely brilliant. She had done her research, validated the problem, talked to potential users, everything by the book. She had savings, she had 6 months of runway, and she had vision. The vision included AI powered workout recommendation, social features, gamification, integration with every wearable device you can think of, a marketplace for trainers, and video streaming. When she showed us the wireframes, I'm not going to lie, it looked amazing. It looked like $20 million app. And that's exactly the problem. See, here's what happens to most founders. And I see this pattern repeat itself every single month. You have this vision in your head, this complete, polished, feature-rich product that's going to change everything. You can see it so clearly. You have lived with this idea for months, maybe years. You have thought through every feature, every user flow, every edge case. And because you can see it so clearly, you think that's what you need to build first. But here's the thing about MVPs. The most people fundamentally misunderstand. MVP doesn't stand for minimum viable product in the way most founders think. It's not about building a cheaper version of your full vision. It's not about cutting corners or launching something half-baked. It stands for minimum viable product. And that word viable is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Viable means it can survive on its own. It means it can prove something. It means it can teach you something real about your market, your users, and your assumptions. Think about it like this. When you build a house, you don't start with the chandelier. You don't start with the marble countertops or the home theater system. You start with the foundation, then the frame, then the walls. But with startups, founders want to start with the chandelier. They want to launch with everything because they are terrified that if they don't, nobody will take them seriously. Here's what they don't realize. Users don't care about your features list, not at first. What they care about is whether you solve their problem, one specific problem, really, really well. Let me give you a concrete example. Instagram, when it launched, wasn't it is today. It didn't have reels, it didn't have stories, it didn't have shopping, it didn't even have filters at first. It was literally just share a photo. That's it. But it solved one problem perfectly. It made photo sharing on mobile that simple and actually enjoyable. Airbnb, when it started, didn't have payments, it didn't have reviews, it didn't have verified photos or insurance or any of that. The founders literally took photos of apartment themselves with a regular camera. They facilitated introductions between host and guest. That was the MVP. So what's really happening here? When founders overbuild their MVP, they are not just wasting money, they are wasting something way more valuable. They are wasting time and they are wasting learning opportunities. Here's what I mean by that. Every feature you build is a hypothesis. You are basically saying, I think users will want this. I think they'll use it this way. I think this will solve their problem. But you don't actually know any of that until real humans start using it. When you build 10 features, you are testing 10 hypotheses at once. And when users come in and some of them use it and some of them don't, you have no idea why. Is it because they don't like feature 3? Is it because feature 7 is confusing? Is it because the whole concept is wrong? Or is it because you buried the one feature they actually care about under 9 other things? You can't tell. But when you build one feature, one core experience, you get clean feedback. You learn fast. You learn what works, what doesn't, what resonates, what confuses people. And then here's the beautiful part. You can iterate quickly. So how do you actually figure out what your MVP should be? I use this simple framework. I call it the core loop test. Ask yourself, what is the one action a user can take that delivers value? Not 10 actions, not a journey. One action. For Uber, it was request a ride and get picked up. That's it. That's the core loop. Everything else, search pricing, driver ratings, splitting fares, all of that came later. For Dropbox, it was put a file in this folder and access it on another device. That's it. That was the entire MVP. They didn't even build the sync technology at first. They faked it with scripts. For your product, what is that one thing? Once you identify that, here's the second question. What is the absolute minimum you need to build to make that action possible? Not like what features would make it better, not even like what would make it more competitive, but what is the bare minimum for it to work and deliver value? This is where most founders get uncomfortable because the answer is usually way simpler than they want it to be. And I get it. I really do. You want to impress people. You want to stand out. You want to build something you are proud of. But here's what I've learned from watching hundreds of founders go through this. The ones who succeed aren't the ones who build the most features first. They are the ones who learn the fastest. So back to Sarah. When she came to us with her fitness app idea, we had a long conversation. And I asked her, what's the one thing your users can't do it right now that you are going to make possible? She thought about it and she said, I want people to stick to their workout routine without needing a personal trainer. Okay, great. That's the problem. So then I asked, what's the simplest version of a solution to that problem? We spent about 2 hours whiteboarding and we stripped everything away. The AI recommendations, gone. The social features, gone. The marketplace, gone. The wearable integrations, also gone. What we ended up with was this: a simple app where you log your workout. Every day you log, you see streak counter. And if you are about to break your streak, you get a notification. That's it. That was a version 1. Sarah was skeptical. She thought it was too simple. She thought nobody would pay for it. But here's what happened. She built it in 4 weeks, not 6 months. 4 weeks. She launched it to a small group of about 50 people from her network, people she had interviewed during her research phase. And within the first week, something interesting happened. People started using it. Not all 50, but about 30 of them logged in every day, and they stuck with it. But more importantly, she started getting feedback, real feedback. And the feedback wasn't about what was missing, it was about how to make the core experience better. People wanted to log different type of workouts. They wanted to add notes about how they felt. They wanted to share their streak with a friend, not in a social network way, just with one accountability partner. All of that feedback, that's what shaped version 2, version 3, and now 8 months later, Sarah has a product that's actually being used by a few thousands people, and she adding features based on a real behavior, not assumptions. She is also still in business because she didn't burn through her entire runway building version 1. Look, building a product is hard enough. You are going to make mistakes. That's part of the process. Every founder does. But the goal isn't to avoid mistakes, it's to make smaller mistakes faster. So you can learn and course correct while you still have time and resources. Your MVP isn't about impressing investors or competing with established players. It's about learning what your users actually need and proving that you can deliver it. Start small, start focused, start with the one thing that matters most. Because the fastest way to build something big is to build something small that actually works. If you are building something right now or thinking about it, I'm rooting for you. This stuff is hard, but it's worth it. If you're at that stage where you are trying to figure it out what your MVP should actually look like, or you have got an idea, but you are not sure where to start, we have helped a lot of founders work through exactly this. We are not going to try to sell you on building something massive. That's not how we work, but we can help you figure it out what that core loop is, what version 1 should actually be, and how to build it in a way that lets you learn fast and stay lean. So, if you want to talk through your idea. No pressure, no pitch, just a conversation. Drop a comment or reach out. We are here to help. Thanks for watching.